Hey, it's Owen here from the Lennox Realty Group and proud sponsor and ambassador of Parkbench.com. And today we are here with Christine from
Buzz Tour Company.
And we're going to learn a little bit more about her company and see what she has to offer for everyone in this region.
Yeah, sounds great.
All right.
Thanks so much for having me. This is great.
No problem. What is Buzz Tour Company?
Well, I run wine, beer, and cider tours to Norfolk County directly from the Waterloo region. So that's basically the gist of it.
Perfect. Now, Norfolk County.
Yeah.
I've normally heard of St. Catharines, Niagara, stuff like that. Why Norfolk County?
That's a great question. I get asked a lot. And in fact, in addition to that, I get asked, where the heck is Norfolk? Because they've never heard of it before.
That's a good one as well.
So I would say, first of all, Norfolk is just southwest of Kitchener-Waterloo along Lake Erie. So it's about a little over an hour from here. And some towns that are often familiar to people are Simcoe, Turkey Point, Port Dover, Long Point, that area.
Okay.
And the reason I go there is it's an emerging region here in Ontario. Not many people know about it, which is kind of the charm of the whole place.
Yeah.
It's a lovely, nice country drive to explore and find a place that's a little bit different. It has something different to offer, and the experience there is something to explore.
Yeah. So sounds like it's got kind of a great tour the way there. Is that way you're not kind of stuck in traffic and you don't want to kill your buzz on your way to go have some fun. So
Exactly.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to see some scenery and get some nice kind of country road driving while you're going out there.
Yes. Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's great.
I like that. Now, why what focus do you have on Norfolk County, and where exactly, what kind of wineries and tours do you have going there?
That's a great question. So people can really decide between, do they want to just come for some craft beer? Do they want to do just wine? Do they want to explore some cider? Or do they want to do a combination of all of those or a couple of those things? So people really have some flexibility.
Nice.
So I've got a few tours that are available on the website that are just sort of like, packaged and ready to go.
Yeah.
And I also encourage people to connect with me. If they have an idea, if they've been down there before and there's a couple places they really love, I encourage people to connect with me, and we can always customize something as well.
Nice.
But there's a lot of there's a unique approach to winemaking, cider making down there, down and over there.
Okay.
So there's lots to offer and many different varieties of things for people to try.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah, because I didn't realize that. Yeah, you can kind of pick and choose. So if someone's just focused on wine, they can just do wine tours, cider, breweries, stuff like that. That's kind of nice to be able to spread that out. Now, what got you started or gave you the idea to start this company?
Oh, it's such a good question. I get asked this a lot. I have a friend who kept telling me to go to Norfolk County and that the wine was all great. And I was like, what? Where is Norfolk? I was one of those people, like most people I meet. And so I didn't really know. I kind of imagined that I would, go to a farm and someone would be making wine out of their kitchen sink. That's kind of what was my idea of where we were going. So one day my friend said to me, just come with me. I'm going to take you to one of my favorite wineries and I want to see what you think. So I went with her, and I was gobsmacked by what I saw. We ended up sitting on this lovely patio. It was the middle of July. Of course, it was a gorgeous sunny afternoon, and we're overlooking Lake Erie, the Carolinian forest. It's just beautiful and so calm and peaceful. And the manager ended up coming by, and she said, are you enjoying yourselves? And I was like, whoa, this is way more than I thought this was going to be. I had no idea this was here. And I said, is anyone doing wine tours out here? Because this is a great place to explore.
Yeah.
And she said, well, no one's doing that yet. And I said, well, I'm going to do that. And honestly, the words just fell out of my mouth. Yeah. And so it was this little nagging voice, I guess you could say, in the back of my head that kept just poking at me a little. It was like, you gotta consider this. You gotta think about this.
Yeah.
And so after a little bit of time and a lot of noodling, I started putting together a business plan. And I realized very quickly that although I have this go big or go home sort of mentality and wanted to have 15 passenger van and you take lots of people, when I started doing more market research, I realized that everybody was kind of like me. No one from this area really knows where Norfolk is, what's available there.
Yeah.
And so if I went out and invested all of this money in this tour company and no one knew, what if no one came? Right? So I would have been starting off kind of on the wrong foot. So I sort of let the whole idea go, and then it just kept resurfacing. And a friend of mine said, you know what, you're really passionate about this. What if you just got a smaller van? What if you just got a minivan and took out a handful of people at a time instead and tried it out and see how it goes? And I was like, I could do that. So I sort of started developing a business plan around that and launched last January. And that's kind of the beginnings of the story of the Buzz.
Awesome. Well, we're glad that you did decide to commit to that so that so many people can go out there and enjoy Norfolk County and what that region has to offer. And well, how many people, so you said you've got the van, so how many people can you take on tours?
Good question. So because I started last year taking out groups of 4 to 7 it's a Honda Odyssey, so it's still really comfortable and pretty roomy. It's a more intimate journey to Norfolk County, and we get to chat and get to know each other really well. But this year I also partnered with Voyogo, which is a local bus company. And they have, amongst their fleet, they have a executive minibus.
Okay.
And so it's a little sexier than a school bus, right? Not quite as like coach bus, or like, it's not limo, but it's limo-esque. I guess that's always kind of how I refer to it as. And it allows me to take groups of up to 20. So it allows me to package groups of 8 to 12 and 12 to 16 and 16 to 20 to take in a larger vehicle.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, to my surprise, still really love the 4 to 7 passenger sort of
Makes
more
that more intimate experience, right?
Yeah, and it's kind of like when we were chatting a little bit, and talking about people really like to get their little small group together.
Yeah.
And it's really easy to get together 4 or 6 people. It's a little bit more to get together a group of 15 or 20. But both have become really, really popular, and it's going really well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, what kind of what do you find your clients come from? Like, are they mostly just like couples looking to go out for a tour, or where do you find your clients coming from?
It's a really great question. Predominantly, women seem to approach me and come on the tours. So it's a lot of like girls' day, ladies' day out.
Nice.
But I do a lot of actually family tours, so adult families. They're actually a ton of fun. You really get to see the family dynamic, which is really neat for me. And just see how different families get along is kind of neat. And then, of course, girlfriend groups, and then couples. There's really a little mix of everything. Yeah. In fact, for example, this Sunday, I had a couple of ladies call me up and say, hey, we really want to come, but we can't get even 4 people, but there's 2 of us.
Okay.
So what can we do? And I said, well, I'll put it out there and see if we can attract some other people to join you.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're doing. We have 5 people that don't really know each other, and they're coming along, and not only will the tour be an adventure, but they'll have an adventure in themselves getting to know each other, which
getting to know each other, and you might be able to start some friendships and stuff like that. So that's kind of a cool experience, meeting other people and then having a great fun experience with that.
Yeah, and predominantly, I do get a lot of calls from people, okay, we have like 6 people, what can we do? We've got 15 people, what can we do? And I also do like corporate tours beyond that. So if people have a group of bigger than 20, then I do go like the coach bus route.
Coach side, yeah.
For example, I have a group coming up that is a group of 35, and picking them up in Brantford, which is just outside of our region, and then taking them out there for a day. And we've sort of customized that tour a little bit. So it's not a predetermined tour package that I've already got created. It's something that we've designed together to fit their group. So
nice.
Yeah,
that's nice that you have so much flexibility, right? That if someone wants to do a certain kind of type of wine or learn a little bit more, that you're able to tailor those things, and especially size of groups. So that's nice that you've got all that flexibility available for your people looking out there.
Yeah, and I think too, like a lot of feedback I get is that, when I thought about this, I came up with this name, Buzz Tour Company. Yeah. And a lot of people say, like, why did you choose that? And I said, I didn't want this company to be something that was pretentious. Wine makes a lot of people feel really uncomfortable. Yeah. And they feel like they don't know enough, or that, maybe they're not right for the tour because they don't really know anything about wine. They're going to look like an idiot kind of thing, right? Yeah. So I wanted to create a really comfortable space. Now, I'm a pretty comfortable person to be around. I like people to feel comfortable. And so that's what it is. It's not pretentious. It's open and fun and enjoyable, and everyone learns. I'm still learning. So it's a really great place for people to come and just explore something different, try something new. And learn something along the way.
So it's a great fun time for everyone from novice right up to connoisseur.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, is there anything that maybe if someone's kind of just looking into it that they might not know about you that you think they should?
That's a good question. Well, I get asked a lot things like, do you do other things than wine? Like, if I'm going to go out to that group and I have a corporate group, let's say, I don't want all my staff getting real boozy by the end of the day. So is there something else that we can do? And again, that whole custom factor, I think, comes in a lot, but it can be outside of that realm of all beer, wine, cider. Okay. So for example, there's actually I just took people through a live on my Facebook group, which is about a bee apiary experience where bees the beekeeper takes us through the whole experience, like bee
Suits and everything.
Yeah, you like meet the bees and you learn all about their production and how they work and how important they are.
So a little honey tasting involved
yes,
in there too?
honey tasting in there too. It's pretty awesome, actually.
Nice.
You learn a lot about honey. So there's that aspect, because there's a lot of eco stuff that's going on in Norfolk County. It's very agriculture rich. So there's like fat tire mountain biking, there's zip lining, there's boat tours, there's paddle boarding. I mean, you name it, you can take a group to go and do something.
Wow.
So like, for example, a group could go out in the morning, learn how to paddle board, and then in the afternoon we hit a couple breweries or a couple wineries and then head home. Like, so it can be something that we create and surround whatever the group's needs are for a particular day. Yeah, I would say that's one thing a lot of people don't know.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that we should kind of know about yourself or the company that...
I think that it really is an experience. So I hear a lot of people give me feedback that it's nothing like a wine tour they've ever been on.
Yeah.
And I think in part that may have to do with the fact that it's just such a relaxing place to be. And it's a whole new region, which is probably part of that. But in addition to that, I think that people are really surprised to... I totally lost track of what your question was. Can you remind me what your question was?
No, just basically...
This happens sometimes.
It's live. Don't worry about it. So it just kind of, what would someone know about you or
thank you.
Yeah.
Or about like
the company. Yeah.
Is that it's just a really great experience for the day, I think is where I was going with this, is that, you know, you're not just jumping from winery to winery and going in for a tasting and coming out. I don't just drop you off and say, see you later. It's a very engaged, interactive day. And oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes we're meeting the winemaker or people in the family, and, you know, you're learning about their story. You know, some of these people are third generation farmers, and, you know, they've taken over the farm, and where, let's say, tobacco is now on the wayside, they had to basically reinvent themselves as farmers and decide what they were going to do. So they learned through research that grape growing and hop growing and all these types of things are really, they have the soil for it.
Yeah.
Not only is it great for tobacco, but it's also great for growing grapes and growing hops. So that's something that a lot of people don't know.
Yeah.
And that's part of the experience. You get to meet these people, they tell their story. There's a great connection to that. And I think that at the end of the day, experience, fun, play. Those are kind of the words that I use to describe what we do. Because I feel like, you know, everyone loves wine, cider, beer. One likes relaxing and having a good time, unplugging a little bit from stresses of life. But I think too that it's about slowing down and just being connected with something. We're so tapped into, like, everything's happened so fast, and we're on technology all the time, and, you know, our relationships are maintained on social media, where this is a really great way to just reconnect not only with people we're with, but we're connecting with nature and agriculture and, you know, the earth, which is kind of cool too.
Unplug, unwind, have some fun, learn a little bit.
Yeah, and play as adults. Like, we forget how to do that, I think.
Now, what does Buzz Tour Company have looking into the future?
Oh, good question. And sometimes, you know, I've got this like big idea where I want things to be naturally. I mean, I started and I wanted it to be big, and of course, I'd like it to become something more. But my first matter of business is really getting people to know what this region has to offer. And so far, that's been going really, really well. You know, I've booked so much more this year than last year, which is fantastic. But ultimately, I would love to have my own 15-passenger van, like my original plan.
There you go.
And grow it to maybe even have a couple of those and a couple of smaller vehicles to still continue that small group, intimate journey and opportunity for people. And have maybe a bit of a fleet of my own, help to employ people in our region, and really just help to expand on what is available in our own province, and just tap into and add to the, you know, the food and drink, you know, tourism, hospitality sort of culture that we have growing here.
Yeah. Now, your tours, are they throughout the week, evenings?
Good question.
When do they run?
Great question. And this is another thing a lot of people ask and don't know. So that's a great question. So typically I run tours Thursday through Sunday.
Okay.
So Saturdays are the first to fill, almost always, right? Sundays are second to that, but Thursdays and Fridays are a great day to tour. So whether you have a small group, like for example your office, if you all go together on a tour, that'd be a great thing to do on a Friday, right? Like, who doesn't want to unplug on a Friday and go drink wine? Like, hello, me. So Thursday through Sunday, and on special requests I can also do other days. I just have to arrange for it. So yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds great. Now, do you have any special events or anything like that going on later this year? Is there something that we should kind of know about?
Well, I do a lot of private groups, which means if you, for example, and 5 of your friends said, hey, we want to come on this tour, you would arrange it with me for your group of friends, and so on and so forth for the larger groups. I do sometimes do what I call sporadic adventures.
Okay.
And they happen sporadically. So it's sort of when I have an opportunity and or the
Yeah.
time to sort of create something. As I'm new in my business, those are happening very sporadically. But I'm hoping that's another part. I'm hoping to grow those more. So for example, I just did one last month. We called it Amuse My Bouche. And actually, a friend came up with that name. It wasn't me, so I can't take credit for that. But essentially, it was a wine and food tour with this couple of girls from Norfolk, and they coined themselves Fork Meets Cork. So check out the hashtag Fork. Where hashtag? Anyway,
Hashtag?
Fork Meets Cork.
There you go.
And one is like a Red Seal chef, the other is a master taster, and together they do like a pop-up dinner in a place that you don't know, and no one knows Norfolk anyway, so it's always a surprise for us, but especially a surprise with them. So we did a pop-up in the Victoria Town Hall, which is like the smallest town I think on the planet. It's like one little street. It's the cutest thing. And they served us dinner. It was very much like grandma's table, and they interacted with us and paired drink and food together and talked us through, you know, the different ways that we taste, smell, and use our senses. And then they took away our sense of sight. And had us try to distinguish what it was we were putting in our mouth, which is a little scary, but at the same time was really neat to challenge, what your different senses are, because we lose touch with them a little bit, right? We sit down at the end of the day, we like eat dinner, and we don't really consider what we're putting in our mouth really a lot of the time. So they did like a full interactive meal with us, and we also visited a couple of wineries and that sort of thing. So events like that pop up. I'm finding that because I'm a newer business and people aren't as familiar with the area, I think it will just take a little time for those to grow in their popularity. But another one you might see coming up is Lavender Fest, which they have Bonnie Heath Lavender Farm and Winery is one of the locations I visit, and it's Lavender Festival basically at the end of June, early July. So if I can get my act together, we might see something come up for that. But there's always opportunity, and if you follow along on social media, you'll find out when the sporadic adventures are happening.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right. Now, if people are looking to check you out, where are the best ways to do that?
Great question. Okay, so you can visit social media, Facebook or Instagram. You can find me at Buzz Tour Co. Or you can visit me at buzztourcompany.ca. All the tours are listed there, contact information, and I'm happy to have you contact me and learn a little bit more.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate having you on here and having a little chat, learn a little bit more about Buzz Tour Company, and hopefully we'll be going on some tours and taste testing with you in the near future.
That would be awesome. Thank you so much for your time. This was a lot of fun.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Bye.